Hey everyone, it's Sarah. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Sims 4 speed build. So today we're building in the world of Windenburg. I thought I would mix it up a little bit because we have been building in San Sequoia for so long. And I kind of had a little bit of a look to see which world I haven't built in the longest, if that makes sense. And it looked like Windenburg was the oldest world maybe that I haven't built anything. I actually am kind of thinking it's actually Newcrest though, because I don't actually have a playlist for Newcrest, and so that's how I generally tell where I haven't been building, and so I feel like that's probably wrong. I feel like it's Newcrest, but the next speed build you guys see should be a Newcrest, so we'll just take care of both of those things. But anyway, Windenburg was definitely on that list. According to my playlist, that was the world that I have not built in for the longest time. So I decided to build a little Windenburg little house today. And we're up in the neighborhood that is on the top of the screen, and I just realized recently that I don't know what any of the Windenburg neighborhoods are called. But to be fair, now that I'm saying that, I actually don't think I know what any of the neighborhoods are called except for the San Sequoia neighborhoods, and that's just because we just did that little series, and so maybe I've just never paid attention to that before and I've just never noticed it. But apparently I don't pay attention to neighborhoods in the game. But anyway, this is the one up where the estate house is. I'm not sure what it's called, but there is that kind of mansion estate house up in this area. And if you guys are ever interested in what lot I'm building on, it should be in the description box. At least with my newer videos, I've been trying to put that in the description box with all the other information about the build and everything like that. So if you're ever interested, it's also usually in the top left part of the screen, but I'm not going to say that it always is because sometimes I may get that messed up. But anyway, getting back to this build, so I didn't really know what to build after all those family homes, which I mean, this is kind of a family home. Not really, it's really just for one sim, but we'll talk about that. Anyway, I didn't know what to build, so I decided to go on Pinterest and have a look at some different houses because I don't know about you guys, but I usually find it a lot easier to build something that I really enjoy. And sometimes I try to make myself build stuff that, maybe I'm not that into, or I'm trying to learn a new style or something like that. And it's just so much easier when you enjoy the style that you're building in, or you enjoy the inspiration or whatever. And so that's what I decided to do. That was the goal, was to find a house that I really liked how it looked and try to recreate it in The Sims. So I'll go on and pop the picture that inspired this build up on the screen where you guys can also see it and see what I was going for. I don't really think this build ends up looking very much like that. I mean, I tried to kind of keep the shell pretty similar. That's what I was using for the inspiration. But I feel like the color of the roof is so different that it makes the whole house look different. And maybe even the color of the brick and stuff like that. It just looks so different from the inspiration picture. I feel like if I didn't tell you guys that that was the inspiration picture, nobody would realize that. And so I don't know if that means that I did a bad job or if it just turns out different sometimes in The Sims. But I did decide to build that. So basically I decided that I was going to build this for a sim who likes to garden. I know the greenhouse kit came out recently. I actually don't have any of the kits. I just am not as excited about the kits as maybe I should be. But yeah, I don't have the greenhouse kit, so we're not going to have a bunch of that stuff. But I do really like seeing the builds that people make using the kit and everything. I mean, I think it's really cool. Don't get me wrong. But it's just, the kits just aren't something that I've gotten super into at this point because it just seems like such a small amount of items, But anyway, we are still building a little garden home. Basically what I'm trying to say is I know that a lot of people are building garden homes right now, or gardening home, and that's not really why I was building this. And it just kind of happened this way because that's the first picture that I saw on Pinterest that I really liked. But anyway, none of that really matters. I will mention though that I saw that they released the 2 other kits. And I do think the library one seems like a really cool, I mean, what's it called? It's called Book Nook or something like that. I think that's really cool. I like the idea of the modular furniture. I haven't seen a lot of builds using it yet because I've been trying to get these builds done. I have another one after this one that I've been working on, and I've just been desperately trying to get them done. Anyway, I do think that looks like a really fun kit, and I do like really storybook like rooms with a bunch of books and stuff, and of course everyone loves a good library, right? So I do think that's really cool, and one day I'll definitely probably get into the kits, but right now I'm just not there. But I do hope you guys are enjoying it if you have gotten them. If you have, let me know what you think. The other one is more of a cast kit, right? I feel like I've seen that. I don't know why. I feel like I'm kind of behind on Sims news. I think it's because last week I wasn't able to watch a bunch of stuff and I wasn't where I normally am. And so I feel a little bit behind right now. But anyway, yeah, let me know what you guys think if you have the kits. Are you enjoying them? Let me know. I mean, I'm always interested in what you guys are doing in the game as well. This little area right here, though, I will mention that I was trying to build this because it was in the inspiration picture, and I don't know exactly what this is called. I want to say lattice. Is that right? I feel like that's what's coming to my mind, is that you would call it like lattice work or something. But anyway, we have an item really similar to this that came with the get together pack. And it's already got vines on it, and the only thing that I didn't like about it was that the vines are so thick that you can't really see the lattice work behind it, or you can't see the wooden pieces. And so I figured, well, I'll just build my on with the tool mod, and I don't really like the way it turned out, to be honest. You can barely see it because the object that I use is such a light color that it really just doesn't stand out next to the house. And I just really don't think it was worth the effort that I put into it. And then when I got it up on the wall, I had no idea what to do with it. So I feel like that area looks a little bit off because it was a bad idea maybe from the start. And I just don't really like the way it turned out. I tried to throw up a few of the ivy, like dead ivy pieces from the vampires pack, because at least you could still see the wood pieces behind it. But it kind of looks like there was plants on it. And I threw up a few of the flowers as well, and I just really don't like the way that turned out. So if you guys want to delete it, I don't blame you. I mean, it's a lot of objects to delete, unfortunately, because it's all made out of one little object repeated, because you guys saw that. But anyway, just don't really love the way that turned out. I don't know what I was thinking when I built it. And I thought about deleting it immediately, and I didn't, so we're stuck with it. But moving on, this is the little actual garden area. And I have playtested this house already, and all of this was functional. I tested every single little planter spot to make sure that every single one of them worked for you guys. But the ones that I have stacked up on top of each other, and then if you ever see one that's sized down, I'm not really intending for those to be functional, so I don't ever check those. I don't think the size down ones work, but I'm not sure about that. But I know, of course, the ones that are stacked up on top of each other wouldn't work. And so all the ones that are left, if you guys get this off the gallery, they are all functional, and I play tested every single one of them. But I do place one next to the flower arranging table in just a little bit, and I couldn't get that one to be functional at all, so I ended up just stacking a few more on top of that so that it would stay decorative, but you know, it's not actually functional. But I have no idea why it wouldn't work, but it just kept telling me that the seed wouldn't germinate, or whatever it is that comes up in the little notification box. It kept telling me that it, you know, basically wasn't working out, and I needed to place the seed in a more open area, which is confusing because there is nothing on top of that planter box, and the only thing that I could figure is that the terrain is a little uneven there, but I moved it around so many times it wouldn't work, and so that little planter box is different. But the other one that is still on the same kind of terrain, those two work totally fine. So I really have no idea what was going on with that. But I could not get the seed to plant for anything while I was trying to. So I did change that. But as usual, everything in this house is functional if you guys do get it off the gallery. I have no idea when I'm going to have it up on the gallery, because as of right now, when I'm talking to you guys, I actually don't even have the rec center up on the gallery. I was watching a video while I was building today, and I think they said that the gallery was down, and so I haven't even tried to open it up or anything like that. And so, yeah, I have no idea when I'll get it up there, but I will get it up there. And if you guys download it off the gallery, it is totally functional. I did playtest everything. And anything that didn't work, I moved around and changed and made it to where it was functional. I feel like my biggest issue when it comes to stuff not working out is the kitchen areas, because every single time I do a kitchen, I clutter it up too much, and then they can't prepare a meal because there's no counter space, even though there is empty counter space, but it's not enough, or I have an object on the counter that the Sims don't like and they feel like it's too cluttered, or you know how Sims are. And so I feel like I've been struggling with the kitchens a lot. And so with this house specifically, I was totally going to make sure that I did not clutter the counters up. And then I still ended up having to delete a plant box because I placed some, I think it was the tulips, I'm not sure, it may be something different, but I placed a little plant next to the fridge on the little countertop that I was going to keep open. I placed it because I really felt confident that I didn't have enough on that counter that it would still work. And you know, it was apparently too much for my sim to be able to cook around it. So I did have to delete that. But other than that, everything was functional. And the inside of this house, I think I mentioned this, I'm not sure, but I feel like I did. But anyway, the inside of the house is very earthy. It's got a lot of green and brown wood tones and stuff. And I was really wanting to bring that green color in because I don't usually use a lot of color. I usually stick with the kind of beige wallpapers and stuff like that, kind of simple. And so I really wanted to use some green, and I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I'm seeing this kind of dark forest green everywhere. I feel like it's really in right now. I feel like a lot of people are using this color, and so I wanted to have that in this house. I don't know why, but it was one of those things that my mind was just totally stuck on, having a dark green wallpaper. And I changed some stuff around several times because I didn't like it covering the whole house. It just felt like too much. So I do have some brown beigey wallpaper throughout the house, but I did use it on that main part. I committed and I made myself use it in the kitchen and the living area. And I really like the way it turned out. I feel like once I got the furniture in there, it looked better, but at first it looked like way too much. And also, it's one of those wallpapers that doesn't actually have a trim. And I don't know about you guys, but I prefer it when they do have a little bit of a trim, but then most of the trims that we have in the game are white as well, and that wouldn't have really worked with this particular build either, I don't feel like. Even though my doors are white, mostly the doors and the windows are white, but I still wanted kind of more of the wood tones, and so it just is what it is. But for the inside of the house, we do have the small living area. I included a fireplace, which I thought was a really cozy area. And then we have the kitchen, of course. I did include a laundry room just because there was space for it. And then for the dining area, I went on and chose the round table from the laundry day pack. I feel like I always want to use that round table, and it never seems to look right in the space I'm trying to use it in. And this house, it just worked. And you guys may have noticed that originally I was going to just use one of the regular, just rectangular dining tables. And I changed my mind. I put the round table in, and I absolutely love it. I think it looks so good. And I think the chairs are from the Seasons pack. They may be from the Cats and Dogs pack, because I think there's a similar one that came with Cats and Dogs. But anyway, I love the dining table. I think it looks so good. And I made sure to put a ton of plants, of course, on the interior as well, because this sim loves gardening, and so they love plants, or at least that's what I was thinking. And then this house also only has one bathroom, which we are working on right now. But for the bathroom, I did this little trick that I will talk about for just a minute because I really like the way it looks. And I did this for one of my shorts videos, one of the bathrooms I did on one of my short series. And I talked about it on there, so if you guys saw it, you've already heard this. But I really like the way a little tiny half wall, I'm going to call it a half wall, but that's different. Like in The Sims, a half wall means something different. But to me, basically like a half tile is what I'm more talking about. Instead of using a platform that takes up a whole tile, I prefer the shorter little wall. And so I figured out how to do this on one of my shorts videos, like I mentioned. And so basically what I do is I have the wallpaper that I want to use behind the tub. Like every time I've done this, which is 2 times, that makes it sound like I've done it so many times. But both times that I've done this, I've had the bathtub kind of up against this wall, and it's just been a 2-tile wall, so it's pretty small. But I grab my sim and I get them to paint a reference photo of the wallpaper, just anywhere on the wallpaper. It just doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal to make it like totally precise or anything. I mean, you want it to kind of be straight. Like with this particular wallpaper, it was brick, so you want your lines to be straight. But anyway, you get them to paint a reference photo. And then I just go on and make a copy of the first one because I felt like that was the easiest thing to do. So then I go back into build mode, place the paintings, which I end up doing the medium paintings. And you do have to use the tool mod for this method. I should have already said that, but I do use the tool mod. So you have to size them up a little bit, I want to think, and I cannot remember what I sized them up to, but you basically just want to size them up to where they're filling up that space, but they're not overlapping to where they're glitching or anything like that. And then I placed some shelves. I usually use the base game shelf that I always use, the Immaculate. And then you just use the tool mod to pull those paintings out from the wall to where it looks like it's a new tiny little wall, and the shelves are sitting on it, and you can put your little decorations on it. And I just really love the way that looks, and I hope you guys like it as well. But like I said, I have talked about that before on one of my shorts videos, but I just want to talk about it with this build because I feel like this was a good build to do that with, and I really like the way it turned out. But then we do have the one main bedroom, of course, and then for this second bedroom, I did just make this into a guest bedroom because I didn't really feel like this was a family sim. I didn't feel like there was more than one sim really living here. Maybe two, but I just didn't really get the family vibe for some reason while I was building, so I kind of made this into a guest bedroom, even though it's pretty cluttered for a guest bedroom. But the only computer is in this room as well, and so I figure maybe it's like a little bit of an office and a guest bedroom. And I know that it looks like you would not be able to get to the bed because of that chair, but this is also functional. I did play test it and make sure it works, and it does, so it's totally functional. But that is pretty much it for this build. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think down below in the comments because I always love hearing from you guys. And thank you so much for hanging out with me today during this speed build. I hope you all are doing really well, and hopefully we will talk soon with another speed build.